So we are just over a month in to President Biden's term, and I know we're still on the honeymoon period of all of these things, but what would you say so far? There are two big issues that had to be tackled. One would be the rollout of the COVID vaccine, and the second is this COVID relief bill that's kind of caught up, it looks, at this point. But what would you say so far about that first month?
I'd say President Biden is off to a very strong start. He has stayed true to his commitments, focusing on containing the coronavirus and rebuilding our economy. He's surrounded himself with a team that is not only experienced with subject matter expertise, but competent and dedicated public servants. He's moving his cabinet through confirmation process very well. And he has made a commitment to always look through the lens of what does this mean to the American people? And I think the stimulus package, coupled with redoubling the efforts to get the vaccine out and into the arms of the American people, demonstrates that that's what he's thinking about each and every day. So a very strong start.
You know, that stimulus package is going to be the big issue that people are watching so closely. And as Elon just pointed out, there are two Democratic senators who have raised issues with at least part of what they're going to see in that bill, the $15 minimum wage. What do you think happens? Does this bill get slimmed down? Does that get taken out? What would be your guesswork, having watched this for years in the White House?
Well, I certainly hope not. Look, the Republicans raised concerns about the stimulus package back in 2009. And we now know that it was really important to not only have what ultimately got passed, but it probably should have been larger. And on the minimum wage, I guess, Becky, the question is, who can raise their family on $7.25? We've not raised the minimum wage since 2009. And we know that those who are in the lower income bracket, if we do raise their wages, they will go out and spend those resources immediately because of needs that have been unmet. And you think about what's going on around our country, and Fed Chairman Janet Yellen mentioned this yesterday on your show. We have 12 million people worrying about losing their homes. We have 12 million children who are hungry, 24 million adults who are hungry. So there's a huge disconnect between the performance of the stock market and what's happening in our families around the country, not to mention having hit the 500,000 Americans who have died from the COVID-19. So this is a time of great crisis. And I think what President Biden will try to do is move the full stimulus package along. He has said he's open to ideas, but I think he put it well yesterday. What would you cut? What would you cut? It's hard to face the American people who support the package and say make cuts.
Valerie, no question, there is a tale of two economies in this country, and you are right. The economy is not reflected in what's happening in the stock market. There are a lot of people who are suffering right now. But if the aim is to get the most urgent things out in terms of making sure you get COVID vaccine money, making sure that you get money out to the schools to reopen, making sure that you extend unemployment so that people who are without jobs will continue to get that federal boost, all of those very important things for people who are truly in dire need right now, why add something like the $15 minimum wage, which is controversial even with some of the senators that the Democrats will have to rely on, Democratic senators who are coming up for this? And while it's an argument that you could make, it's pretty tough to say that this is directly something that needs to happen with COVID relief, particularly with small businesses that have really suffered through all of this, too.
Well, what you're trying to do is not only address the issue of the pandemic, but you're trying to rebuild our economy. And so that goes back to my earlier point. Americans who are making $7.25 an hour are not supporting the economy. We want them to have that disposable income so that they too can help stimulate the economy. Look, the Republicans have been also balking at support for state and local government. Those coffers are dry as a result of what's been happening this last year. And we learned back again in 2009 how important it was to provide those resources at the state and local level. And so But President Biden said he's open to listening. But right now, he's fighting for everyone. And I don't see him giving that up in the short term.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.